Hello everybody, it's Larry and welcome to today's video. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the CM Explainer released today by MyHeritage, the single best predictive tool on the internet, bar none. In fact, I'm going to go a step above that. I'm going to tell you, hands down, this is the best genealogical tool on the internet, bar none. Now, there's a lot of things that, compare. You got chromosome browsers, you've got all sorts of tools, for predictivity. Folks, it was when Throughline came out, it connected you and used, people's trees, which can have errors, and it synthetically created them. And I showed when it first came out how it had errors and how it was using other people's trees. And then they eventually fixed that. And then from that, when other tools released, I said, hey, this is a Lambo with no gas. If there's a problem in a tool, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it like it is. You deserve it. I deserve that. We all deserve it. I'm not going to blow smoke and tell you something's good when it's not. The CM solver, I truly believe, was the hands down de facto best. It was the only one that uses age logic. It was the only one that predicted your MRCAs. It was the only one that really showed a pathing in an understandable format. It was really, and you notice I'm saying the word was. Okay, this CM explainer is, and they say it themselves. Let's just read you. This is how it works. CM Explainer was developed by MyHeritage in collaboration with Larry Jones, yours truly, developer of the CM Solver technology. We exclusively licensed this technology from Jones, and our science team enhanced it further over a period of 5 months to create an industry-leading solution for genetic genealogy that is exclusive to MyHeritage. I'm going to say it says industry-leading, and that is bold. But in reality, that's actually an understatement. It says industry-leading. Folks, the CM Solver was industry-leading. If this were a marathon race, the CM Explainer is crossing the finish line of the marathon, and the CM Solver is way ahead of everybody else, and we've hit the 100-yard mark or the 100-meter mark, and they're over 31 miles ahead of us. This is just wow. It's mic drop wow. It does things. Let's talk about some of the things it does and what it's got in here. And then I'm going to show you the tool. This is from their blog. You can get to the blog. You can Google MyHeritage blog, and you can see the blog about the CM Explainer. This was written by Erica. It's a great article describing the CM solver. I'm going to scroll quickly. I apologize for that. It gives you the technical portions of it. It shows how it's integrated to their website. It tells you all about the presentation and how it's presented. And I'm going to show you some of those. And then also shows that you can get to it on their tools page, but you can also get it by going directly to myheritage.com/CM. All right. So I want to talk a little bit right here what they've shown about the ages. Now, this is brilliant. All right. I'm a math geek. I'm certified to teach mathematics. I've taught at the high schools. I've taught at the universities. And math is fun to me. I'm also a computer analyst, and math comes in very handy for that. So with that, I look at this, and the first thing I notice is, wow, here's siblings. And so let's assume I'm the oldest. Okay, so here's 0. This is me. If I'm the oldest, that means all my siblings are -1, 2, 10, 20 years younger than me. If I'm the youngest, the other direction, they're all 1, 2, 10, 20 years older than me. Or if they're the same age as me, it's not 0. Look at this, 0.02, which is the probability of twins. I thought that was brilliant. So instead of going, hey, this comes down to 0 because this is me, and then going, positive slope for here or a negative slope here, it actually started at the point of twins, because the probability of somebody being the exact same age as me and a sibling is 0.02 right here at the twins level. Wow, that caught my attention right away. And then, here you have the slope of those siblings that would be younger than me if I'm the oldest, or if I'm the youngest and the ones that are older than me. And then there's the overall curve. Awesome. Then here's the curve that shows parents. And this is the age difference in the different kids. So think of this as the fertility rate of a mother. And you can see, 0 age 5, we're still 0, 10, we're still 0. And right about the time we hit the teens, okay, we start getting this slight uptick, okay? And then it goes up and it peaks somewhere around the 27, 28. And then it slopes hard back down, to the 40, 42, 44, 45, right in that area. And then, trails off back in the zero slope. So this being a parent, all right, a parent is a child of your grandparents. So you would think that if the parent was it, I could apply the parent, which everybody has had kids as a parent, I could apply this slope universally. But they didn't do that. In fact, if you notice that the parent is your grandparent's child, as are your aunt uncles, okay, well, you think your aunt uncles would have the same slope, right? Well, not exactly. You notice the slope is very similar, and at first glance it looks, identical. But you notice the slope. We're at hard 0 at 10, and then at 15 we're still at that hard 0, or maybe a slight uptick, and then it starts going up. But on this slope, okay, by the time we get to 5, we've got a little uptick. By 10, we've got a noticeable uptick, and by 15, we're actually crossing over that 0.01 threshold, just barely. At 15 here, we're still down here just beginning to tick off the 0. Well, wait a minute. If my parents are, my grandparents' kids, and my aunt and uncle are my grandparents' kids, all of them should be the same. But no, they're not, because your parent would be right here, and the aunts, uncles would be siblings on either side of this line. It would not be identical. It would affect the slope. That's genius. And you see right here where it shows parents' cousins, which is your first cousin once removed. Look right here. This slope, okay, much wider. We're up from, we're up above, like at 0.005 at the 0 level, and all the way up to the 70, we've got this slope. And they've taken this and done it for every single kinship and applied it to this tool. And then they laid it on top of it, on top of the DNA. And then, let's get to the tool. There's even more. The then is the secondary age. See, there's 2 ages. There's your age, and then there's the match's age. And they're all affected by these slopes and intersecting of the slopes based on your age. And then you have the slopes for the distribution of your centimorgans. And what they've done and what they've created here, it's so mathematically brilliant. It's just wow. But, and this is the most important part, it's so simple that an elementary school child, that's right, your kids or grandkids, if they can read, they can use this tool and understand it and be proficient at it. That's how simple it is. They've taken the explanation, which is why it's called the CM explainer, I assume. They've taken this ability to the nth level. They've taken this complex overlying mathematics and made it simple. How simple? You ready? All right. If you got your shoes on, take off your shoes, take off your socks, because this is going to knock your socks off and you're going to have a shoe explosion. Okay? Well, maybe not literally, but this is going to knock your socks off. So get ready. We're going to enter 212, and we press enter, and it says, okay, your most probable relationship is second cousin. Mic drop. Most probable relationship is second cousin. No tool does that. No tool. Not even the CM solver says this is most probable. Now, I have a chart, and comparatively, it shows you slopes and stuff like that. Nobody comes out and says in a way that even the most new genealogists can understand, the most probable relationship is second cousin. And it goes even better in the simple explanation. It says most recent common ancestor, MRCA, because we use that term, and so they explain what the term is and give you the acronym. You and this DNA match most likely share a pair, it'd be 1 if it was a half, a pair of great-grandparents. Wow. So It's telling you point blank, you are most likely a second cousin, and you are related through a pair of great grandparents. And then it gives you percentages. It says 48.2. We'll get into percentages in a minute. I'll come back up to that. We'll slope down. And now you're going to see something that looks similar to what you're used to seeing, but it is improved. And I'm going to show you some of the improvements. If we click here, it shows the MRCA probabilities. Okay. 62% likely great grandparents. Now, this is the full kinships. See right here? This is your most likely kinship, which is second cousin. You see how it's highlighted with the purple ring? Now, these are all possible kinships in the purple, but it says this is your most probable right there for the full kinships. It also, if you know there's been a remarriage on one of these and you know you're looking for a half kinship, you can say, show me my half kinship probabilities. And you can look and say, okay, here's my half kinship probabilities. Or what I like is to see it all together. Now, this is a great improvement over my tool in the sense that in mine, I had a column of blue, column of yellow, column of red, a single, dual, multi-path. And they, have a much softer, they've integrated, some advanced math on their slopes. So it's not as hardcore on the columns. You've got the curves for the DNA, you got curves for the ages, you got curves for the other age. But it also shows that right here, where I would have had only a yellow dot and the blue wouldn't have shown up except if you clicked on the chart at the top, they've got both of the probabilities for the second cousin and half second cousin, both showing. You can see very clearly how it goes up to the great grandparents and how it comes down and to that kinship. I think that representation is amazing. Now, they've even gone a step further, and I want to talk about this presentation. They've really, really taken time to make this the best tool and to make it easy for everybody. That's why it's the CM Explainer. It explains it in a way that even an elementary school person, a brand new person to genealogy, can understand. Now, notice right here, this is my first cousin. So the person under them is first cousin once removed, right? Well, the verbiage is first cousin's child instead of removed. I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody that, hey, it's a removed kinship, like first cousin once removed, they're like, oh, so they're not really related. It's like being related by marriage. No, they're really related. And they said, oh, and I said, there's an extra generation, so they're younger. So first cousin once removed is always younger. Well, it could be older. Once removed means there's a generational difference between you, and you have to get through this. And people don't like to feel stupid. I don't, you don't, nobody does. So people get really frustrated when they get into genealogy with this removed category, and it's confusing to them. Makes them feel stupid, makes them not want to do genealogy. The way they presented this with first cousin's child instead of the removed, or first cousin's grandchild instead of first cousin twice removed, that's brilliant. And then if it's on the other side, parent's first cousin, because I know how I'm related to my parent. That's very common here. It says parent's first cousin. And then here's grandparent's first cousin, or parent's second cousin right here. Here's my parents' second cousin. I know how I'm related. I know how I'm related to my grandparents. So if this is my grandparents' first cousin, I know it's my grandparents. I go up to, and it's my grandparents, and it's their first cousin. Instead of saying first cousin twice removed, which could lead you up here or down below. So the intuitiveness and the cleanness of the verbiage on this, outstanding. The graphical representation of it, outstanding, because you get to see the paths and the kinships and all the stats at once, which no tool has yet to accomplish other than this tool. It's the only tool to accomplish that, and that's amazing. Now, I want to draw your attention to, it says second cousin's child, okay, which is a second cousin once removed, 9.4%. Parent's second cousin, 9.4%. That's a second cousin once removed, but with it being from my parent, I'm the younger one. And in this one, the second cousin's child means I'm the older one, okay? And because all we know is the centimorgans, these are equally likely at that point. I can't make any kind of determination with any other, math logic other than just pure centimorgans, what is it? All right. So when I enter age, however, I enter my age, and you should always know your age. If you don't know your age, stop doing your genealogy, seek out medical attention. You should always know you're going to be messing up your tree. Stop. Okay. Now, I say that in jest, but in reality, you should always know your age. And if you're a search angel and you're helping somebody, you're going to know the age of the person you're helping. If you don't, you're not going to be able to make those connections anyway. You should always know that. So you're going to know this. So you're always going to know centimorgans. You're always going to know your age. But watch what happened. Second cousin's child went from 9.4 to 5.6, and parent's second cousin went from 9.4 to 4.7. These are no longer equal. Why? Because I know now that I'm 60, the average human being 79. I don't know where they did their cutoff and how they implemented, algorithms on their side, what they decided to use. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that the cutoff was 100 because 40 years above me, and I'm 60, so that means 60 years below me, which means it's slightly more likely that the person is younger than me. So a second cousin's child would be younger than me, and a parent's second cousin would be older than me. So it's slightly more likely that they're younger than me. But in this case, second cousin went from 48 to a whopping 74.2, basically a 3 out of 4 odds. Now, what happens if I know the other person's age? Well, that's where the magic happens. I'm going to enter now 60 for a DNA match. And I want you to notice here, we got second cousin's child, parent, second cousin. I'm going to enter 60 right here, and we're going to see magic happen in the numbers. We're going to see all sorts of cool things take place right here. All right. First thing we're going to notice is this percentage went up to a whopping 88.2%, meaning this is extremely likely, like 9 out of 10 likely, and that this is going to be your MRCA. Look, your top three, all three of these are through your great-grandparent, all right? So great-grandparent, great-grandparent, great-grandparent. You're going to be related through the great-grandparent, and it's going to be most likely your second cousin. Could be one of these others. But notice here that the second cousin's child is dropped to 2.8, and the parent's second cousin, it's down. It dropped down. Parent second cousin is down. I have to expand it to see it. And half second cousin jumped all the way up to number 2. Now, to be fair, it was still a minuscule 3.7, 2.8, and these are now 2.8 because the age is now the same. It's not going to look okay. Are they older or the younger? Well, if they're the same age, it's the same probability that they're going to be older or younger on a removed kinship, if there is indeed a removed kinship, and the odds of it being 2.8 that they're older or 2.8 that they're younger on a removed kinship, with an 88.2 likelihood that we're on the same level. Okay? That's incredible. And this thing, the precision of this and the slope, we can see the slope right here. We're going to go to 60. We're going to exaggerate it so you can see the slope a little better than just going by ones, but you can see it by ones. We're going to do 60 to 65. You notice the percentage here went down to 84. Half second cousin dropped a little bit. Okay. We're going to now put 69. Okay, 69 here. Half second cousin is now half as likely as parent second cousin, but still at a whopping 80%, 79.6% here. And notice great-grandparents. This one is great-great-grandparents and then also great-grandparent. So these two are going to be research. If you're building out the tree, starting from here, you're going to catch both of these in the same net. And then if that doesn't work, you cast a net here. All right. This is amazing. This is amazing. Let's go into one that I know. I've got a 441. I'm 60 and they're 57. And yep, they are a half first cousin. And yes, I do share one grandparent in common with them. One. And that would be Dolly McFarland, my grandmother, because she divorced and remarried 9 times. Family story is she didn't believe in having affairs. So if she liked somebody else, she would divorce the person she was with and remarry the other person. Okay. When I first heard the story, I chuckled. And then months later, I found out she was my grandmother. So that was kind of embarrassing. The CM Explainer, the absolute best tool, genealogical tool out there. I want to put this in perspective, folks. It talks about in here that it's an industry leading tool for predicting, okay? And I told you that was really an understatement, because what do the other tools do? What are the other tools? What is the purpose of through lines? The purpose of through lines is to say, how is this person related to me? What is the purpose of clustering? Where you're trying to find out how somebody's related to you. Okay, that's the purpose of these. What's the purpose of the CM Solver? To tell you how somebody's related to you. This thing, it's your one-stop shop and says, enter the centimorgan, enter your age and the age of the other person, and I'll tell you how you're related. That is pretty darn amazing, folks. It's what all the other tools are trying to do, and it does it for you. And it does it in such a way that anybody that can read can look at this, whether you are a genealogist of 50 years or you're a genealogist of 50 minutes. You can enter that information and see this and have an understanding of how you're going to be related to them. And if the verbiage was confusing, you can see it in a tree format. The CM Explainer by MyHeritage. If you're using the CM Solver or any other tool on the internet to figure out how you're related to somebody else, stop. Okay? And that's pretty bold, because I'm telling you, don't use my tool. Use this. I want you to also know, I don't get a penny for anybody that goes and uses this. Okay? I'm telling you to use this because it's the best thing for you to use. I don't get anything out of referring you to MyHeritage. In fact, it's actually kind of harmful, because if you're coming to the CM Solver website, you're inside the ecosystem I've created, then yeah, I could put maybe Google ads on the page or something at some point and maybe create some revenue out of it and build it up. I've never been about building the biggest YouTube channel. I've never been about, trying to make money with all this. Don't get me wrong, money's nice, feel free to donate. But that's not what it's ever been about. It's been about getting the tools in your hands that will help you solve that DNA surprise as fast as possible, so you don't feel the way that I and others with DNA surprises have felt when you got it. It's also there to help you break down those brick walls. Some of you have had brick walls you've worked on for decades, some even half a century. I know I've got emails from people with a CM Solver. They were able to solve it in a single day when I dropped the CM Solver down. Half a centuries. One was a family research project that went multiple generations, over 100 years. They solved it the very first day the CM Solver came out. That is an amazing accomplishment. And folks, this blows the doors, blows the socks off of the CM Solver. It's not even on the same tier. So saying that, I want you to fully appreciate how and why I said the CM Solver, I believed it was the best. And I want you to fully understand how great this tool is and what it can do for you. And I also want you to kind of understand what, if we are using this, we're going to be able to influence a new generation of genealogists who won't feel stupid with our verbiage of first cousin once removed. What does that mean? Does it mean older? Does it mean younger? Once removed first cousin once removed. Okay, that's a little clearer, because now at least you know if it's older or younger, but it's still confusing. What's a removed? They've changed that right here. First cousin's child. That's not a first cousin once removed. Well, it is a first cousin once removed, but it's said in a way that anybody can understand that. That's your first cousin's child. You know, your first cousin so-and-so is their child. Okay? Very clean and easy to understand. They've made this as absolutely simple as you can possibly get it. Anybody that can type in your age, the centimorgans, and the match's age, press the submit or simply hit the enter button, can use this tool. And if they can read, they'll have the answers to their questions. And with the MRCA prediction, you're going to know right where to go to build out your tree to find out how somebody's related to you. So if I look at, notice here, the half relationships was the one that it pulled up because that's the most likely. I look at all of them. Well, here, because it's most likely 47, it started with the halves. But it says, look here, 63% likely here. Start with the grandparents, build down. 63% of the time, you're going to nail it by building that out. If you fail to connect at one of these two levels, then you'll have to go up one to one of these two levels. Okay? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know that, again, I really want you to appreciate it. It says CM Explainer was developed by MyHeritage in collaboration with Larry Jones. Yes, I collaborated, and yes, you know, they're being polite with the accolades, but folks, I want you to fully understand, we had our meetings and they ran, and ran's not a word. They got on a rocket and took off. The professionals there at MyHeritage, that whole team, amazing what they've done. I'm looking at their blog and just, you know, I'm blown away with the level of detail that they put in behind the scenes and the simplicity of the result, where you have 3 little inputs and you get the English answer. How is this person related to me? Well, they're most probably your half first cousin. Nothing does that, folks. There's nothing better out there, period. Mic drop.